it was launched, actually. We're now joined by Hall of Famer, great segment all the time with Rick Barry, the great Rick Barry on SicEm365 Radio with Craig, David, and Paul. Rick, thank you very much. What are your thoughts when you watch Luka Doncic?
I really like his game. I mean, he was a big surprise. I didn't know much or had seen much of him when he was overseas. I was kind of surprised that he's even as good as he is, because if you look at his body, he kind of reminds me of the Joker. And I love the way both of them play, but neither one of them has what you look at when you see some of the defined bodies of a LeBron James and some of these other guys that are playing in the NBA who have these Greek god bodies that are so incredibly defined. It looks like those guys didn't spend a lot of time in the weight room, but they sure as hell know how to play.
Yeah. Rick, there are a lot of changes in the NBA this year. The chief among them, that play-in game, which your Warriors played in. What did you think of the play-in game and how that shakes out? Do you like it? Do you want them to keep it?
Yeah, I think they should keep it. I think it's great. I mean, anytime you can give an opportunity to continue on and have a chance to possibly get a championship, it's more exciting for the fans. And I think the play-in is great because it's kind of like the NCAA tournament, one and done. I mean, you have one chance to get it done. Well, actually, I guess you have the second chance, because if you lose the first game, you have another chance to play again. But the games have so much importance. It's kind of like having all seven, the seventh game of a best of seven series. And so that makes it very exciting. Personally, when I watch sport, I love to watch athletes perform when there's so much on the line. And so that's why I enjoy that type of a performance and that type of.
What was that like to see Steph Curry about a couple weeks ago, pass you on the all-time scoring list? Is that something that you take note of? Is that something that you pay attention to if somebody's, getting close, especially, obviously the Warriors connection there?
In the last 10 years or so, everything's become so analytical, so statistically oriented. To be honest with you, I had no idea about any of these things. I've learned more things about myself and what I did that I had no idea that I did, because it's showing up. It shows up here. Oh, so-and-so just joined, and there's my name. Join me for doing it. I had no idea I did that. I mean, I didn't pay any attention to any of that stuff, to be honest with you. I mean, there's some things I'm actually kind of proud of to see that I'm listed on. That the only one that I knew about that I was proud of, that I two things that happened in my career that I remembered that I thought were pretty cool, is that I remember I had 25 rebounds in a game, and it was against the Sixers with the great Wilt Chamberlain and Luke Jackson. And I mean, those are big guys, and so I mean that was kind of I felt pretty proud about that. And then the other one was that I think I still may have the record for a forward for the most assists in the game, and it happened on the road in Chicago, and I think I had 19 assists in the game. And I was really very proud of that. And I always joke about it and say, well, I probably had 20 or more, because if it was in Chicago, I know they probably screwed me out of the trouble.
I didn't. I just know. I read this part, and this is on the Wikipedia page, which is, of course, if we listed all your highlights, we'd be on the air for an hour, which is great. But that you grew up a Willie Mays fan, and then you ended up playing in San Francisco, and he was with the Giants during that time, and then, of course, Oakland as well. How often did you get a chance to meet him, or what was it like the first time you met him?
Well, actually, the first time I actually met him, I was a kid at school, and I cut school. I was in the parochial school, and it was a public school holiday, and I cut school to go to a PAL game. It was an early game over in the Polo Grounds, and so I jumped the fence at the end of the game and ran out to shake his hand before he went up the stairs to the clubhouse, which is out in center field at the old Polo Grounds. And that's why I say, what an amazing country we live in. My boyhood hero, the guy that I admired, because I wanted to be a baseball player. He was a rookie when my father taught me how to play baseball and how to catch fly balls with the basket catch. Nobody had done it. My father said, this is the way you should do it. Here's this rookie comes in, Willie Mays. And then years later, I wind up becoming the personal friend of Willie Mays. I mean, my boyhood hero, who invited me. I get a call that Willie would like you to come to his 80th birthday celebration at Bally's at Atlantic City. I said, oh, that's awesome. What a great honor. I'd be happy to do that. He said, but he also wants you to be one of the speakers. There's only going to be 3 people speaking. He wants you to be the first speaker and tell the story about how you guys met. So that's
amazing. That your boyhood hero ends up being your best friend, and you get involved with.
Well, I know about my best friend, but I'm getting invited to his 80th birthday party. I mean, so we want, and so I get there, and when I got up there in front of maybe 2,500 to 3,000 people, it was just packed, and there's all these Hall of Fame baseball players up on the dais, whatever. And so I got up to do the first talk, and I said, I know what every one of you out there is thinking right now. And they looked at me, and I said, you're thinking, what the hell is he doing here?
Yeah.
And so I got him to tell the story about how I met Willie when I cut school. So yeah, so he's always been my hero. He was my number one hero. And then in basketball, the guy that I looked up to admire was Elgin Baylor. And then later in life, I get a chance to guard her in basketball. I mean, how incredible is that?
We asked you when you were on the show last year about why more guys don't shoot underhanded free throws. I was curious how many free throws when you were younger and then when you practiced did you shoot a day? Because you I mean, even underhanded, which like you said makes the percentage a lot higher. You had to, how many a day?
I never had a specific number. I just would shoot a lot. I do know that when I was playing, even when I got to the pro level, that in practice, I would shoot more free throws than the other guys who needed to shoot more than I did. And I was always thinking to myself, why the hell aren't you guys out here shooting a lot more free throws? And when I coached, I always remember the team said, okay, well, make 25 free throws before you go. Well, I mean, no, take 25 free throws. They said, take 25. And I'm saying, when I'm coaching, I said, no. You have to make 50 before you leave the gym. And the reason is that, hey, you could shoot 25. What the hell difference does it make how many you make? You get 25 up and you get out of the gym, and you go to the locker room and you go home. So, if you have to make 50, you have to concentrate a little more and focus, because if you want to get out and leave, you have to make 50 free throws. And so I always felt that that's the most important thing, is the concentration, focus, and having good technique. So there's just a lot of guys that could really help themselves and help their team. And I just don't understand why you would do anything within reason to do it. I mean, if you could stand there throwing it over your head with your eyes closed and make more higher percentage, and I say do it that way. Isn't it all about how many you make,
yes,
not how you look?
Yeah, absolutely. You started out with the Warriors, and obviously you guys won a world championship in the 70s eventually as well. But, Rick, you were a part of the ABA for quite some time. I lived in Virginia, and I watched the Virginia Squires, and I don't know if Dr. J was there at that time or not. I don't remember, but you were there. I know you didn't like it there, but you played in the ABA for quite some time. What was that like?
Well, it wasn't that I didn't like it. I never went there. I mean, the thing is that I had an agreement verbally not even to have to leave the Bay Area. That if the team ever left the Bay Area from Oakland, that I wouldn't have to leave. And that never did get resolved in court. And so I honored every contract I ever had. I never broke a contract. And I finally got, fed up with all of this stuff that I was, being not treated fairly. And so I basically just used Sports Illustrated, who've done some horrible things to me over the years. But I used Sports Illustrated to try to get out of having to play for the Virginia Squires. And I think the title was The Reluctant Virginian. I was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and they had me in a Virginia Squires uniform, but I never did play for them. And Doc, I think, joined them a year or so later, but it was quite an experience. But it worked because I was able to get traded, and I got traded to the Nets, and that was a great opportunity for me. And I got to do a bunch of broadcasting work up there and further my career and get to play for Louis Carnesecca, who was one of my favorite coaches ever. And we had a good team. Should have won the championship. We didn't win the championship because guys didn't listen to what the coach said we should do. We wound up blowing a game in Indianapolis that we should have won, and we should have come back to the Nassau Coliseum up 3-2.
What do you think of this version of the Nets with the unbelievable?
Like it happened yesterday.
Yeah. What do you think of this version of the Nets with the unbelievable scoring potential they have every night?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable how teams are, gathering all these great players. I don't blame them. I don't blame a player for leaving to go someplace to win a championship. They got more money they could spend in 50 lifetimes. So it's not about the money, or at least it shouldn't be. I mean, if it's about winning a championship and having a chance, why would you not do it? I don't understand why you wouldn't. And everybody gets mad at them and saying, well, why? What's the loyalty be? Trust me, there is no loyalty when it comes to sports. If your value all of a sudden diminishes and you can't help the team out, they're going to get rid of you and get somebody else. So if you have an opportunity to do something and better your life, why don't you do it? I mean, why shouldn't you be allowed to do it? And in the real world, hey, if you guys got offered a hell of an opportunity to go to a big station somewhere and get paid a lot more money, what are you going to say? No, I owe my loyalty to to my radio station here.
Yeah, go ahead, Craig.
Oh, Rick, I was just curious. The Bay Area, especially the city of Oakland, they went from, having a bunch of sports teams to now the A's are looking at the possibility of moving out. The Raiders are already gone. The Warriors have left, although not that far away. Having just spent a lot of time there to see the city of Oakland go from, 3 pro sports franchises to now one that may or may not be around for that much longer. What does that make you think?
That is a business.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as the loyalty. It's definitely a business. I was there when for a 12-month period of time, we were the epicenter of professional of the 3 major sports. I mean, we had the A's who won Major League Baseball, World Series champions. We had the Raiders who won the Super Bowl, and we won the NBA championship. So it was a pretty remarkable time, and had a lot of great players, a lot of great teams, and I felt sorry for the fans a lot, and the fans were great. But the thing is the fans just have to go across the bay to go and see the Warriors still. So it's still in the Bay Area. But, the city has gotten themselves messed up a little bit. And I'm not even going to start talking about politics in the entire state of California.
Probably smart. I understand, though.
Back to Luka and what he's done. The height, the players and how well they shoot, no matter their height. Now, there's some guys that are just big, tall guys that can't shoot it. Are you more and more amazed at how athletic, and you were a hell of an athlete, no question about it, how good the guys who are 6'8", 6'9", even 6'10", or whatever, like Durant and company, can shoot the ball?
Well, it's like you say, they're amazing athletes, and they have incredible skills. But the reason being for some of that, well, first of all, the athleticism and the other stuff doesn't come from all of the training and things. It comes from the fact that you have genes in you that have the opportunity, blessed with the opportunity to have those genes to give you those types of skills. But then you can refine them. And the people would say to me, well, you guys can play today with these guys. And I say, you must be joking. I said, seriously. I said, you know how much better I would be if I was playing today? I mean, I was fast and quick both, which is the biggest, my size for the guy my size. Back in those days, there weren't a lot of guys that had that. But if I had a strength coach, an agility coach, I'd be faster, stronger, quicker, more endurance, dietitian, eat the right foods. We ate the wrong food. It would be crazy how much better I would be. And when you bring up Doncic, I think of myself when I watch him. In fact, my wife and I were talking the other day. I said, honey, if I could get back and I was younger and had a chance to play, I'd be a point guard because I was quicker than the guards. I could handle the ball. I'd have to be a better ball handler because that's something that the coaches allowed guys to all of a sudden do more. I think they do a little bit too much sometimes, but I would just have to improve my ball handling skills a little bit. But I could see the floor, and I love getting an opportunity to set up my teammates and make a good play to get an easy basket for one of my teammates more so than I did scoring myself. And so I could control the destiny of my team being the point guard. And if I could put back again and do that, I would be a point guard without question. And hopefully play, like Doncic plays. He's pretty remarkable.
What was weight training like when you played?
None.
None.
Zero. Absolutely zero. And there's absolutely nothing. Nautilus came in, but we had nothing on the team. We had no strength coach. We had no training program. We had nothing.
What, did you do something yourself, or did you just let your raw athletic ability and work ethic do what you do?
I did a little bit, but nothing of any significance. I started using the Nautilus. That was at the end of my career. And I even look at some pictures of myself. When I first came into the league, I looked like I was chiseled and cut and spent a lot of time in the weight room and all, but I really didn't. I mean, I know when I was doing my working in the summer in college before my last year, I would do push-ups on a on a tractor trailer, on a tractor, a Caterpillar thing, pulling big, what they call a sheep's foot roller to pack down dirt on road jobs, working for my roommate's father. And so I would just waiting for the dirt to come in and get pulled down. I do a lot of push-ups and things of that nature, but I didn't do anything. I didn't lift weights and do anything, but I was fortunate enough to have a decent body, and I looked like I spent time in the weight room. But no, absolutely nothing. That's the thing that shocks me about it, is that how antiquated it was. It's so sophisticated now, and on top of it, all of the stuff it's done is all sports specific. You play a certain sport, there's certain training programs you go through to maximize the potential of you to develop your muscles and and all the other things in your body to its fullest. It's incredible what's happening. That's why you're seeing some of the remarkable things that take place in sports today.
Did you play other sports besides basketball?
No, I said Willie Mays is my hero. I was a baseball player.
Baseball, okay.
And I was an all-state baseball player. I was a better baseball player in high school than I was a basketball player.
Wow. When did you realize that the basketball was the better option?
Well, the reason I went to it is I probably should be sending a gift to the junior varsity coach in baseball at my school when I went to Roselle Park, because I was playing junior varsity as a sophomore, and when I didn't pitch, he wouldn't play me. And I said, Coach, I said, please. I said, I'm hitting 500. I can hit better than anybody on the team. And I have played every position on the field. I don't want to catch. I learned that at an early age. I didn't want to be a catcher. I said, but I can play every position. And I did pitching. And I said, so when I'm not pitching, I want to play. And so the next game I start, I pitch, I go 1 for 2. Next game I'm on the bench. So I said, that's it, I'm done. So I said, I'm not playing baseball anymore. So I went, I focused and dedicated myself to working on my basketball game and spent the whole summer doing that and committed myself to that. The next year, the varsity coach asked me to come and play. And I said, well, am I going to get to play if I don't pitch? He said, absolutely. I said, okay, I'll play. And so I made All-State 2 years. I mean, I batted 460 or something in my junior year, and I think 360 my senior year. And the only reason that was is that I hit the ball better, but I was skinny, late developer, maturing wise physically. And we had a fence out in right center field, and I was hit balls, but I was a little late, but I still hit them, and I was hitting home runs over the fence and stuff in right center field and right field. And then I got bigger and stronger over the next year, and I started pulling balls. There were no fences, and so I was hitting balls that would have been home runs that were out.
Yeah.
So my batting average went down, but I rarely struck out. I think I only struck out 8 times or something in one of the seasons. I mean, so I had great high-end coordination and was a really good baseball player.
Rick, when you retired, and you had been in the league for nearly 2 decades, when you retired, did you miss the roar of the crowd? Did you miss the locker room, the camaraderie? What did you miss the most initially?
I missed the competition.
Mm-hmm.
I miss going out and competing. I love to compete, and of course you miss the camaraderie. It's kind of fun. You're like a big family. You're together more than with your teammates during the course of the season than you are with your family, for heaven's sakes, for half the year or more. And I miss that, but I miss the competition. I miss putting yourself out there for failure in front of people. I love playing in front of the crowd. I love that. And that's why I looked for other things when I got done. That's why I found long drive competition. I got into doing that. And I won some world championships doing that. And now it's pickleball, and I'm playing pickleball now. I absolutely love pickleball. I've won 2 U.S. Open gold medals, and I've won a bunch of tournaments playing in my age group and my skill level. And it's the fastest growing sport in the United States, and getting involved actually with the thing that people can check it out called Pickleball Connections, which will be on the web. .com, pickleballconnections.com should be out there in the next week or 2. But I'm really getting immersed in that and doing some stuff for a CBD company. That's the CBD, official CBD product for the Professional Pickleball Association. And just doing a lot of really cool things. And in fact, I'm busier now than I've ever been. But yeah, that's the competition, and you get the butterflies. Even now, I know I'm ready because, I got to go. I have to go. My wife tells me not to tell the story, but that's okay. I have to go to the bathroom before I have to play. Okay. And if I didn't have to go to the bathroom, anxiety of wanting to go out and play and compete. And so even now with when I go to play pickleball and when I went to the long driving, I had to do that. If I didn't do that, I knew I wasn't mentally and physically ready to go out and compete. And so that's the kind of stuff. I don't miss going to the bathroom thing, but I still have to do it. And I just played last week in a tournament, and I had to do the same thing. And so that's just kind of my way of getting ready. It's better than what Bill Russell did because he threw up all the time.
Yeah, I remember those stories. Hey, Rick, it's always great to have you. You're so good to be with us. Appreciate you always responding. Have good luck with the pickleball, man. That sounds awesome. I know that it's a fast-growing thing, and continued luck with it.
Yeah, well, let me tell you people real quick, rb-ml.com, rb-ml.com. They can learn about CBD. You really need to learn about this. And then if you put number 24 in any of the codes that they have, you'll get a nice discount. So rb-ml.com. Check it out.
All right. Rick Barry, by the way, speaking of CBD, I tell about Vita Dreams from Don Schumann.